Doc, are you there? Hello, Doc.
Yeah, wait for some time. We'll start it.
I just want to ask you something.
Yeah, good evening, one and all. Welcome to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development on occasion of World Social Work Month and World Health Day and Month 2022 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and also International Conference on Social Work and Sciences towards One Health and Sustainable Development 2022. Before we start our proceedings for the day, let's invoke the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to our sessions today. Today we have with us Hassan Kuroma from Sierra Leone, West Africa. He is founder and also national coordinator for social workers Sierra Leone. He would be presenting on the status of social work in Sierra Leone. Over to you, Hassan Kurama. You can unmute yourself.
That's fine. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, please go ahead with your presentation. We welcome you.
Thank you very much. Again, hello, everyone. It's afternoon here in Sierra Leone, so we say good afternoon to those we share a similar time. I'm really delighted, and special thanks to you, Doc, for inviting me to present the state of social work in my country, Sierra Leone. And I'm really honored as I represent my colleagues from Sierra Leone. I would like to start my discussion on presenting social work as a global profession, as we all are aware. And of course, like any other profession, social work is a global profession. And at the same time, different countries have different, status and successes and challenges in terms of our noble profession, social work. So Sierra Leone is not an exception. And so therefore, I would like to salute all our senior colleagues who are in the front line, making our profession meaningful and providing services in different social work settings. Social work in Sierra Leone has a different phases, different stages, and which we classify 3 domains. We have the informal, we have the semi-formal, and then we have the formal aspect of social work. So if you're looking at social work in Sierra Leone, over the years, there are 2 aspects has been more popular and are still in a very strong domain when it comes to social work, as well as not as a profession, but as a practice base. So the informal and the semi-formal still has a very strong position in our noble profession. That is the formal, which means the traditional aspect of social work without no education, but they are all there to provide help to those who are in need. So over the years, these are the people who have been classified as social workers, which make it very difficult up to date for our country to see social work as a profession. However, as we move along with several strategic incidences, social difficulties ranging from the 11 years Rebel War, which was quite popular in the last, a decade plus, which was one of the war regarded as the most brutal war in the world. And that war exposed the semi-formal aspect of social work, where people who were directly affected by the war, we are left with no option but to provide them with psychosocial support. So at that time, there was no social work educators in the countries. So NGOs, welfare agencies, we are training social work, we are training individuals to provide, psychosocial support to these war survivors. And as a result of that, they were also classified as semi-formal social workers, which are still very much prominent in our profession as I'm talking right now. And as we continue to encounter a lot of social difficulties, from natural disaster to civil conflict, healthcare challenges, we are still seeing these individuals that comprise the semi-formal as the social work practitioners providing social work services. And so within my generation, having been exposed to social work education, in 2010 upon my graduation, and we realized that social work is a profession which actually combined with knowledge and practice, and which is one of the missing parts of the social work practice, because majority of those who practice in social work are just either formal or semi-formal social workers. And this is the representation as our country can recognize as those who are providing social work services. So it puts our profession very much difficult for the public to understand that social work is a profession. And so yes, as I am talking, the general public are yet to have the real knowledge or the perception about social work as a profession. Reason being, one, as a helping profession, which is different from other helping profession like the medical field, the legal field, which is the lawyers. These sets of profession have a code of dress which can easily be recognized as professionals, which is not applicable in our own profession as social workers. So looking at all of this puts a very strong challenge and difficulties for us, who have gone through education, social work education, and presenting ourselves as professionals for the public to truly recognize the profession as a profession like other countries. So these are just the the preliminary stage in my presentation in terms of presenting how we are dealing with our profession in terms of its professional identity. But moving forward, as an organization, our role has been very pivotal in terms of two main aspects. One is the aspect of promoting the profession so that the public can recognize our profession as equally as other professions, as a noble profession. So we establish ourselves as an organization primarily to promote the social work profession. That is in one hand. And we're doing this through different social work activities. Training social workers is one way. Organizing social work programs is another way. For the first time, we have a student placement, which was quite difficult over the years for students who are studying social work to have an exclusive area where they can, undertake their field placements with a direct social work activities. So our organization has been able to provide that platform, that opportunities for social workers, students who are actually supposed to be exposed to field placement to have an opportunity. The other area our organization is very much instrumental is also in terms of the service delivery in the context of social work. Recognizing the gap in terms of appropriate and qualified social work services over the years push our organization to be in the front line, mobilizing social workers and providing community social work support. And this has been also very much putting our profession in a better footing for better understanding, for the public to understand that, yes, indeed, there is a vast difference between, informal aspect of social work or the semi-formal aspect of social work versus the formal aspect of social work. So we come in as we are dealing with these three different aspects, how we can be able to, outweigh both the formal, the semi-formal aspect of social work, which are still in high, strong practice in our country. So these are some of the status as we are dealing with promoting our social work profession in the country. But moving along, the other aspect, it has to do with education. Education came in at the later part when practice has been in existence for over decades. And that is the time social work education emerged. And it was quite not, again, well designed compared to other countries when we are following how they design their curriculum, because one of the first institutions that started social work, at that time there was no social work educators. The college was relying on other disciplines to actually teach social work. They have to rely on political science lecturers, they have to rely on sociologists, they have to rely on other disciplines to actually teach social work. So the educational part also, again, when it surfaced, was a big challenge within the last 15 to 20 years ago. And the education is quite still young in the country because in 2003, after the end of the Civil War, the first college that introduced social work program was in 2003. And it was a diploma program, which was just for 2 years. And then moving that, between 2003 to 2007, another university introduced the bachelor program, which was in 2007, providing bachelor's degree for social workers. And then moving forward in 2011, the Frobe College which is one of the University of Sierra Leone, also introduced their own program in 2011 as a bachelor's program. So as we speak right now, there are also other colleges that are offering social work programs, but these are the three main recognized institutions that are offering social work programs with the maximum program on bachelor's level. And these are how we are still having a very long way to go in terms of social work profession in our country, because education plays a very pivotal role in terms of informing practice. And so yet we're still having a very, as much as there is a huge progress in all of these developments around social work education and social work practice, but yet still the gap in meeting professional standard is quite huge. And these are all as a result of one, which we as an organization still consider as a very big factors that are responsible for the slow pace of social development in our country. The area of insufficient professionals within our professions with high professional education, ranging from master's program, doctoral programs, these are still quite not, popular in our country. There are people who only have master's program. These are people who studied out of the country, and they actually find it very much difficult to practice social work in the country because they don't feel the professional atmosphere where, they can be able to feel comfortable to practice within a professional context. And the other aspect has to do with social work, working together in promoting, having an association. Association also, again, has been a very challenging in bringing social workers together and speak for the profession and stand for the profession so that we can be able to attract the respect the profession it deserves. So as we speak right now, as a country, we are yet to have a national association of social work that will be representing the profession and speaking and standing the test of time of the profession that can earn us the respect that we deserve. So these are also another area. And the other aspect which we are also challenged with is the government willingness in terms of promoting social work, regardless of the strives and the sacrifices our colleagues that we refer to as the semi-formal practitioners who have been very much helpful in different social work situations, yet still the government are yet to recognize the relevance of social work by strengthening institutions to support professional development, the aspect of legal instruments by making a statutory body for social work regulation in the country. Employment also, again, is quite big, a challenge in terms of how social workers can, access employment upon graduation. So when you look at all of these areas, actually speak to the reality that social work in Sierra Leone has a very long way to go. But yes, there has been some tremendous strive in the emerge of social work education and our presence as an organization, which we are representing social work affairs exclusively. And we are all doing all of this within our own ability. And we believe that as much as other countries are actually making progress in social work, we are also yearning for our profession to actually have a standardized and a beautified professional image in our country. So this is why I'm very much delighted when I have this opportunity to share the status of social work in the country, to share with you that, yes, indeed, there are so many gains the profession has been able to attain over the years, but in terms of professional standards, we are yet to compete with countries who are far ahead in actually maintaining or standing on the professional domain of the social work profession. So therefore, this actually creates an opportunity for reaching out for countries who have advanced social work practice for collaboration, partnership, and as to how we can be able to support and uplift countries like ours who are having a very slow pace in meeting the standard of social work profession. So, colleagues, social workers, I want to throw this challenge that we have a duty to promote the global profession, which is our noble profession, by working together, by supporting one another. We are in high need as our country is very prone to so many social issues, so many social challenges that social workers are needed, ranging from family issues, community issues, political issues, and of course, disasters and epidemic that the world are also dealing with. And social work has a very pivotal role to play. And as much as we are in a global village, we have to see ourselves as a profession that represents people. And only by us coming together, helping one another, we can make social work become a viable and a vibrant profession across the globe. Without much to talk about the social work profession in our country, I just want to conclude by saying Sierra Leone social workers are in high demand in terms of providing their best, not only to our Sierra Leoneans citizens, but also non-Sierra Leoneans who are living in Sierra Leone. Unfortunately, we have a vast majority of business people who are Indians in our country. I also have other non-citizens who are living in our country who are most likely may need our social work support. So if we don't have the requisite knowledge in terms of how do we help these people, then we are not doing a justice as social justice is required upon us to provide to every human being that is in need of our service. So therefore, I would like to make this appeal that yes, as much as there are so many gains we have been able to make in terms of promoting the social work development, the social work profession, but yes, still, there is much more is needed, which can only be able to achieve through by collaboration, partnership, networking. And so this is the challenge that we are throwing to our fellow social workers across the globe, that we can be able to advance social work together with their support. And I want to thank Doc for this opportunity to share my country's status of social work. And I would like to pause here if there is any question or comment, and I can take it further. Thank you very much. Hello, Doc.
Yes, Hassan. It was nice listening to you about social work status. Participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself. If you have any queries, comments, you can put in chat box. How do you see this social work when compared to other countries? So how do you see social work in your country, Hassan?
Of course, being following Indian and other countries, I must say I'm impressed with the way social work is trending in India. And of course, you guys have a high scholars when it comes to social work, which we cannot compare India to Sierra Leone. Like I said, we only have a bachelor's program in our education in social work in our country. And where you guys have doctoral programs, masteria programs, and these are also something we are looking forward to in terms of how we can be able, because it's only through education we can bring in respect to our profession. So that is something we're quite aware of. And then when it comes to practice, there's a very clear pathway for my observation and following Indian in terms of how social work is involved in addressing poverty, human rights issues, and so many other issues, which is quite different from our parts over here. We still challenge in terms of identifying social work practices. And so many times when we have disasters that's required multidisciplinary intervention, people question the roles of social workers. For instance, the current COVID pandemic, which creates, a very sensitive area for social workers in terms of helping survivors, and affected families, how to cope, even across, the society. But yes, people still question in terms of our relevance. So these are all, other countries are able to have a place for social workers to give their meaningful contribution, whereas in our country, they are still questioning our relevance and our science behind our service. And this is why I still emphasizing on the need for more, opportunities for social workers in terms of education, whether we have colleagues who will be willing to come over to Sierra Leone and strengthen our social work education, or, universities across the globe will be open to provide scholarship for social workers to study abroad and come and give back. And this is the two areas that we believe can able to strengthen our social work profession in our country.
It was very insightful. Total, how many colleges or universities are offering social work in your country?
So, statistically, right now we have 4 universities, and the colleges I cannot be able to mention because we have these community colleges across the countries, and because of the demand of students entering for social work, I don't know how, like how it's happening. One of the fastest growing profession in the country in terms of academia enrollment is social work. In my university, which is Foabe College, the least enrollment each year is close to 300. As I'm speaking to you right now, in my organization, I have 43 for internship. 43 students for internship. These are from 2 universities that send in their students for internship. So this tells you how social work is really attractive in young people because of the philosophy around social work and the nature of our country being dealing with so many social issues. So people see poverty, people see, social difficulties in people, and they think that social work can give them the opportunity to help. So when you understand that social work is a helping profession that actually give hope to people who are actually on uncertainty about their hope. So this gives the urge in my um, assumption that students have the trust to enroll for social work. And across the these numbers range across the universities. The least university will enroll 100 plus social work students each year. And we have vast students who are actually entering for this profession. But yet still, we have not been able to actually strengthen, in terms of knowledge and practice for the benefit of our people when it comes to service delivery.
It's nice to know that you have a good strength. 300 is not a very small strength. You have very good strength, I think. So every year it's maximum strength or the minimum, how it is?
Every year the increase of interns, we have an increase of interns. Last year we received 26 from another institutions. And then each year, like I said, the number keep increasing. So this is the highest we have received for this year, which is 44. And I believe, there are more because I keep receiving messages, people, students expressing interest, colleges sending us, and we have that's where we are appealing, we are coming forward to reach out to our senior colleagues at the global level to actually collaborate with us, with our organization, Social Work Sierra Leone. We have a very limited capacity when it comes to supervision. These students, they can come in, but in terms of how they can be able to track their progress in the field of practice, this is where we have a very big challenge. And as I am talking to you right now, I'm reaching out to colleagues online who will be willing to provide supervision. And this is also, again, something I would like to throw in this platform, that we are in need of colleagues who will be willing to serve as supervisors or mentors, so that at the end of the day, they can be able to guide the students how they can utilize theory to practice, and some of the similarities when it comes to practice, because we believe that, of course, the context of social work is supposed to be the same. The application, will just be different. How we will apply social work in Sierra Leone might be different. How Indian is applying the social, but when it comes to the perspective, when it comes to the content, we believe social work is a global profession. And if we are talking about well-being is needed in Indian. Perhaps how well-being is delivered in India might be different in terms of the Sierra Leonean context. But every human being is in need of well-being. We are all, a human. And human, we have social, psychological, and physical. I mean, all of these issues need to be addressed by social workers. So this is why we believe that the network and collaboration and partnership by helping one another can help us position our profession.
It's nice to know. Yeah, Mary ma'am.
Hi, sir. Very nice inspiration, sir. You're given a lot of work you're doing. I understood, no doubts, but I appreciate if I can do something for you, you're always welcome. Uh, 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 think as the sister, if you need any help, I can do from my side, sir.
Oh, wonderful.
And a very nice presentation. Lot of first time we are, I have learned lot from your presentation. Anytime, any help, the sisters is always there for you in India to help you.
Thank you very much. That sounds inspiring.
All the best, sir, for your life, and all the best for your next session. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you, my sister. I'll definitely reach out, and thank you for your willingness to support.
Thank you, ma'am. now you are the founder and coordinator for the Social Work Association in your country. How do you see, I mean, what would be the strength of the association and what kind of programs you are organizing for capacity building and empowerment of social works? Can you just highlight on them briefly?
Yeah, thank you very much, Doc. Firstly, our organization is not yet an association. We are a social work organization that primarily promotes the profession and provides services. And of course, you know, association is more about membership and specifically dealing with social workers' welfare issues. So our organization is a practice based in terms of, because that's what we saw as a very big gap in terms of promoting the profession and at the same time service delivering, social work service delivering at community level, which can enable people to recognize and benefit from our service. So our organization is not an association. It's purely like an NGO. We registered as an NGO, providing capacity building for social workers and social services for our people. And in terms of our programs, we have key activities that we design our organization. We look at professional development, which deals with capacity building for social workers. And we actually doing this through, like I mentioned, training, mentorship, by networking with senior colleagues. And so that is one way we provide professional development. And then the other activity is professional standard. Professional standard is how do we influence best practice? How do we ensure that whatever we are doing is within the professional context of social work? So we strive for best practice, and that is one of our activities. And then professional action. Professional action, this is where practice, community service comes in. And when you look at our programs, if we go to our website, we have key programs. For instance, we have the promoting the dignity and well-being for people experiencing homelessness and mental health challenges. This program is as a result of the lack of recognition of homelessness in our country, and which is high prevalence in our country. We have a huge population of homeless, but yet still this population are not recognized and they were not cared for. So our organization recognize and design a program for them, how we can be able to provide social support for them. So if you go to our website, to our Facebook page, Social Workers Sierra Leone, you will see we have a meal service for them every Sunday. Because food is actually one of their biggest constraints. People who are experiencing homelessness, specifically mental health challenges, they have a very huge challenge in accessing food. 85% of them rely on feeding from dustbin. I don't know how that happens, how that's picture, portrayed in Indian, but in Sierra Leone, when people experiencing mental health challenges, they are being abandoned by family members. And of course, there is no social support for them in terms of welfare. So they have to be left in the street, roaming around the street, sleeping in an empty shade of the cloud. And they have to rely on feeding from dustbin or leftover. So looking at this kind of treatment, it actually triggers us as social workers to actually step up to promote their dignity. And so we design a food service for them every Sunday. Because of resource challenges, we don't have the resources. And so every Sunday, whatever resources we raise within the week, we put it together to provide them access to decent meal so that they can also enjoy their living and feel the sense of belongingness and realize that, not everyone has turned their back. There are people, social workers, who recognize their existence. And then we also, when you look at our programs, we deal with crisis interventions. In our country, these are the things that we're dealing with day in, day out. As we're approaching to the rain seasons, you will get the news with flooding. We just dealt with fire incidences. There are quite huge number of crises that we're dealing with as a country, whether there's a natural disaster or man-made. So we are always there to provide psychosocial support for survivors, and that's also our key role. And another area is the aspect of children, promoting child well-being and child development, schools and communities. These are also areas that we are involved in. This is a very quite challenging for us in actually being able to run a smooth and an effective program because of resources. But yes, still to our interns who are coming in, we try to make them have access with working with children and providing, basic help, like recognizing children's emotions, identifying children who are going through abuses and how to mediate and help these children to deal with these issues. So these are all areas that we make our own little effort to represent our profession and help our people. So, the issues, there are a lot, but because of our limitation with resources and capacity building, these are some of the areas that we are currently working, and we're looking forward to stretch as much as we keep on advancing our profession.
It's nice. You are doing wonderful job with the capacity building and various initiatives to strengthen fraternity country. Really wish you all the success, and whatever collaboration you require from us, we are very happy to extend to you, and we invite you and your organization members also to this platform so that they can also share their experience, so that we can also learn from them various activities they are doing in their service and how they are contributing, so that our students and also our colleagues can learn from the different perspectives, even in working in country, and we can also learn a comparative analysis of how social work is practiced in different countries.
Absolutely.
We can learn similarities and differences that will give us better insights.
Thank you. I will definitely work on that.
Thank you for joining us and accepting our invitation. And we are very happy that you are part of this wonderful series. And participants, if you have any queries, you can put in chat box, or you can raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself. Okay, if no one has any query, let me ask one more query. So what specializations are widely taught in universities or colleges, and which is widely practiced? Can you throw some light on this?
That's a very interesting one. When it comes to the curriculum, it's actually designed for generalist practitioners, and at the same time, there is a very challenging aspect with our curriculum, because it is more of a westernized curriculum, and which does not much able to give students the insight of how they can be able to connect their theory to practice, because of how the curriculum is designed. And it's more of some of the universities design their curriculum from the American perspective, like the Fabric College. And so, for instance, if we deal with modules like mental health, the modules like rural sociologies, and I mean, to name but few, and the teaching aspects, the examples they bring is more of Westerners' approach, and how they can be able to link, some of these theories, how it speaks to the real life situation of Sierra Leone. That is where the challenge, and that's where we come in as an organization to actually provide that insights to connect the students to be able to conceptualize, the theories of social work within the context of Sierra Leone, so that at the end of the day, they can be able to use this theory to address poverty, to address child issues of homelessness, our crisis situation that we used to deal with. So how students can be able to apply these theories in the context of, the Sierra Leonean context, that's where the challenges, because of how, one, like I was mentioning, we have insufficient social work personnel, social work educators. Most of them did not actually practice social work. They actually graduated and then they were recruited to lecture as lecturers. So I find it very difficult when a lecturer does not practice, but just went straight away, into education, how we can be able to link, practice and theories. That is the gap we are facing. When people actually practice and then they have the knowledge, then, you can be able to provide, a better social work education with your students, because you can always relate to the field. You can always bring examples to the field and connect the theories to the practice. But this is where, our lecturers are actually doing well. But again, because the practice setting is much more dominated by semi-formal social workers, and therefore the space for social workers to practice is more in the classroom. So anyone who graduated with an interest to go to the classroom as lecturer. So again, that is where we have as a challenge.
Thank you for sharing. Gave us a lot of insights into various aspects of how social work is being taught, practiced, and how much dedication and commitment with which you are taking it forward. It was very nice listening to you and gaining insights. We thank you once again for joining us and sharing your valuable inputs.
Thank you.
So anything you would like to say before we conclude?
Just to emphasize on, and I want to thank my sister. I don't know whether there is a platform to share my information for those who would like to connect with us. And I want to thank everyone who showed up, and special thanks to you. And this is a very wonderful platform. We need this as social work communities to share and engage and discuss. And it's actually keep us together and recognize our strengths and weaknesses. So I want to thank you, Doc, for this wonderful platform. And lastly, again, like I said, we are in need of upgrading our profession. Whether there is a scholarship programs, in Indian, that would be very much, helpful if Indian can, extend their scholarship programs to social workers in Sierra Leone. Or if Indians also, again, can be able to, through their embassy here, can be willing to come and provide teaching like other professions. We've seen that happening in the medical field and other professional areas. We see exchange programs. Students are coming in from other countries, and whilst they also offer them opportunities to go to the other countries. So all of this can help strengthen, the weaknesses and put us in a very strong position to be able to represent our profession in a more professional manner. So this is just, an appeal I would love the Indian community to consider, so that at the end of the day, history can be proud of Indian as how they also contribute to strengthening social work in our country. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We thank you and your organization and entire members of your organization for the wonderful efforts you are putting on for the social work, and treat this as our platform. You are always welcome whenever you find some time where you can share some insights. You kindly let us know, and we will be very happy to invite you, and will be very happy to learn about various aspects of social work. So we invite you all from your organization as well to be part of this wonderful platform. We thank you for sharing wonderful insights and accepting our invitation and joining us on behalf of Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing, and also on behalf of all the participants.
Doc, somebody answers up.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Hassan.
Yeah, I saw a hand up. Somebody is hand up. I don't know.
Yeah, someone, if you have any queries, you can always unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand, or you can put in chat box. Okay. So feedback link has been shared in the chat box. Kindly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory to receive participation certificate. So everyone kindly fill up the feedback form, and also join our Telegram channel and also Facebook group, where you can get all the updates. Daily we are organizing programs. We are inviting our friends from across the world to learn from them, and to share our mutual understanding about social work. So kindly everyone join and make best use of these resources and keep learning. Let's all learn together with each other, leaving no one behind. So kindly fill up the feedback form. The link has been shared in the chat box. And Mr. Hassan also shared the organization link. So kindly do visit to learn more about the organization. And thank you, Mr. Hassan, for sharing your organization link as well.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, we'll be sharing your certificate through WhatsApp after this webinar. Participants, kindly fill up the feedback form.
the queue, I can be able to access the email of the sister who expressed willingness to support.
Yeah, we can see the website. Dear participants, kindly attend to the poll raised in the Zoom platform. There is an overall feedback poll. Everyone is kindly requested to attend. We'll be closing the poll in next 2 to 3 minutes. Everyone kindly attend to the poll. Once closed, it cannot be raised again. So everyone quickly attend to the poll.
Doc, can I kindly attend to something on the pressing?
Yeah, you can also answer if you'd like to. Otherwise, it's optional for you.
No, I'm saying I kind of want to leave, and I also have another appointment.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Thank you for joining. We are waiting for the participants to fill up the feedback form.
Thank you.
You may stay or leave as per your convenience. Thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to hear to you even in future as well. Thank you. Dear participants, kindly fill up the overall feedback form raised in the Zoom platform. Before leaving, kindly fill up both the forms, the Google form and also the overall feedback form in Zoom platform before leaving to receive your certificate. Once you have filled the feedback form, both the overall feedback form and Google form, you can leave the webinar. We'll be ending the meeting. Kindly fill up both the forms, overall feedback form in Zoom platform and also Google form. Quickly, we are going to close both the forms. Dear participants, kindly fill up the feedback form, Google form link as well as the Zoom platform. We'll be closing the meeting in 2 minutes. Quickly fill up the forms.